Hey guys, this is Leanne with Paper Heart Scissors, and I wanted to show you three Valentines today made with the heart rose-filled heart Simon Says stamp die. And I got this die during December and I really loved it, and so I started making a bunch of cards. It's called Heart of Roses, and you can see it's very intricate, and I wanted to use the cards and use positive and negatives with the different materials that I cut with it. So here I'm actually putting a dryer sheet down in between this red metallic cardstock and the die, and this is going to help it release from the die a little easier. And it does stick in the die the first time you do it, but then it actually leaves a little coating, and it really helps you helps the die release the pieces much more easily. So you'll see that I did that, and it cuts away, and you can see that the dryer sheet's in there, but it comes out easily. And then you have this beautiful die cut with all those little pieces. You can also use a piece of Stick It, like I did with the white one, and I'll show you that in just a second. And you can see that I did this, I put actually the whole piece of Stick It on the back. And so now where I've put that white die cut down and I start putting the little metallic piece of inlaying them in, they're sticking onto that Stick It so that it will act like a sticker. Now there's a bunch of different ways to do this, and you can see some other techniques. You could cut the whole white one out with Stick It and then just pull the outside off. But I liked this because it allowed me to make a number, and because some of the pieces are really little, I had extras, so you can see that. So now I have this beautiful inlaid sticker version. I did cut one out of fun foam as well, and I have to tell you, this was so easy. And because you can bend it, the pieces just pop right out, and it is really cool. It gives the dimension without having to sit and weed out all those little pieces like you do with the paper. It goes very fast. So you can do a bunch of these really quickly. The paper, not so much. You have to spend a little more time weeding because it is definitely more intricate, but worth it totally. And so the idea for the three cards was to use each of the three in a slightly different way, but with some commonality about them. And so let me get this one totally weeded. I didn't want to cut this out because I wanted to show you kind of how fast this one went compared to the other ones. And then I wanted to use that obviously on the red, but you can see how beautiful the dimension is. So with the metallic one, I wanted to make a window card. I cut a piece of white fun foam and actually put it on the back of the cover sheet and sandwiched a little piece of acetate in between so that you would look through the window and see the metallic part inside. So the ideas are here. You can see that I embossed that same red cardstock. I think it's Candied Apple from Simon Says Stamp, or I'm not quite sure. Schoolhouse Red. It's one of the Valentine's reds, and it's very red. And then you can see I'm peeling off my inlay piece, and just do it carefully, and everything stayed in there, which is so great. I think that one little piece escaped, and I put that back in there. And I'm going to mount this on another piece of cardstock just to give it a little bit of solidity, and I can make sure that those pieces aren't going to go anywhere. I could have put it on the background of the card as well, but this way, if I decided to dimensionalize it, I could raise the whole panel up, and I hadn't made that decision yet, so I wanted to mount it on something that I could then cut out and use. So that's all cleaned up. Oh, you can see it there. It is so pretty. And then I took the cover sheet for this one that I cut that die out of, and I rounded the corners and I embossed it with a Swiss dot. That one has a heart embossing folder applied to it. And I'll list those supplies below. This one was square. I decided, oh, why haven't I rounded the corners on that one? So you'll see me go ahead and do that as well so that they all kind of match a little bit. I just use a corner chomper. Those were 1/4 inch corners. And I will hit that one on the left bottom too. I just was messing around trying to decide about sentiments. So I made a little sentiment out of the label love, and I think that's an alt new set. I will check and it will be in the supplies list. And then just cut a little banner end on that. And then out of last year, or no, this is a W+9 sentiment from a Mother's Day kit. I just loved the Love You script. And I'm going to make a couple of different vellum strips that are going to go over the red and the white cards with the cut out hearts. And so one is going to be white, and then I did white thinking maybe I might run it over the metallic window card, and I didn't really like that, so I made one, you can see up in the top right hand corner there, that is with red metallic embossing glitter, and that one looks really great. So I'm using a little Ranger multi-medium mat here, and I'm just going to glue that onto the upper 2/3 of the card. That is the foam one with the overlay. And then I'm gonna take my vellum strip, and instead of having to worry about hiding glue dots or strips, I'm going to just wrap it around, and I like it kind of odd and a bit of an angle here. And I'm gonna wrap it around and just tape it, and then use some foam tape to adhere it to the back of the card. So it will be very secure and really nice and flat without you having to see any of that. So I'll put the foam tape on, and then we will move on to the other one as soon as I get this all assembled. So and I wanted to make sure that since this is going through the mail that it was as stable as possible. I probably should have put some up at the top too, but I think it'll be okay. I'm going to put it in an envelope within a cardboard envelope, so it should be all right. So love that, and then we'll do some sequin embellishments after we get the other one, the other two assembled. And you can see that gold glitter embossing powder, it's really beautiful. I'm going to actually use the Ranger Multimedia mat here as well. And I'm literally just, I have it up at the top of the cap, and I'm just kind of barely touching it to the back of the, so it's just leaving nice little dots on the bottom. And I'm not getting any seep-through. I just have a little, it's very flat, so it's just kind of giving a little swipe, almost like using the top of the bottle as your palette knife. So that was working really well. I wanted to actually use some of the multimedia mat on the back of that foam as well, because it needs to be very secure. And there is the window with the dimensionalized foam panel on it. And then I'm going to wrap this underneath as well. I like this one straight actually. And I'm going to just tuck that one underneath to position it. And then the glue will hold that one down as well. And I think I put a piece of tape on it because I was worried about sending it through the mail. But I think actually it would be fine. I don't know that you need that, so it just depends how paranoid you are. Put an acrylic block on that and set those aside and let those dry. They should dry really quickly. And then I went back and forth about whether I was going to dimensionalize this panel or not, and whether I was going to let the inlaid heart be inlaid or have it sit back below this. And I decided I wanted it to be somewhat flat on the back of the card and let that really be the only dimension and be the inlaid piece. And I should have put it underneath, because even though it was cut out with the same die, I did mount it on that piece of paper. So it has just a slight, I had to make some adjustments. I had to do a little surgery here. So I pulled that out and matched it up underneath, and then it sat in there perfectly, but I had to play with it a little bit. And so those three are almost fully assembled, and then I took the little label that says "Love You" and added a piece of foam on the backs, trying to decide where I liked it. I really like it on that side, lined up with the edge of the top panel. I'm just going to put that there on the edge of the top panel. And I cut a little banner in the end of that label, just really simply up the center about a 1/16 of an inch, and then just cut into the middle there. So we had a really sweet little banner. So there are the three cards, and those are actually they dried really well. And I was looking at them, and I'm like, well, do they need more? Yes or no? I can never decide. I did decide to add some sequins to them, and I don't know where these are from. They're just part of my stash, but there's beautiful red, pink, and clear sequins from so many places. This may have been a Lucy's Little Things or a Pretty Pink Posh order. I'll have to go back and look. I'm not positive. But lots of pretty things there. And these I did, this is a glass surface. My table is glass, so I can just wipe that multi-medium up. And I'm going to quickly place some little dots and then use my quick stick to put them in place and move them around. And then remember, with these embellishments, you want to always use an odd number. So 3, 5, 7, 9. Don't use 4 or 2. It really makes people start counting, actually. It's a visual trick. It's very interesting. So if you use the rule of threes, people, it looks embellished and it looks balanced without people starting to count how many you've got where. I'll put a couple on the other side, and then we are done. These really were pretty easy. The inlaid heart with the white and the metallic was a little bit of a labor of love to get that metallic to inlay into that white, but they really are beautiful and rich without being overdone, and I had a lot of fun using this die. I hope you were inspired and got some ideas for your Valentines. Please give me a thumbs up on this video and visit me on my blog at paperheartscissors.com. Happy Valentine's Day! Bye!